Hi, and welcome along to the All Guns Blazing podcast. Today we're not actually in the studio, we're out and about. We're all random places. We're at a meeting room in the MK Dons Stadium.
Random.
Proper random.
The contacts this man's got.
And apparently they're out there preparing for a concert. They've got Rod Stewart in concert.
Yeah,
you like Rod Stewart?
Yeah, it's my age group, isn't it?
Bit of what's he? Like rock, isn't it? Scottish. He's a Scottish... Big Celtic fan he is, actually.
Yeah.
Rod Stewart.
Yeah, I do remember him actually doing a draw for the Scottish Cup once, and he was steaming. It was, if you ain't seen that video, go watch that.
But hardcore into his football, Rod Stewart. But anyway, we're here, and we're kind of still in recovery mode, man, after what I can say is that big L we took over there in Baku. And that's kind of what we're going to touch on today. Yeah. Just before we get into that, the guys from a.f.c. Sport again have posed us another question. They keep posing us these questions, right?
Yes.
And of course, it's we got to utter it. It's the Champions League final on Saturday, Liverpool versus them lot. If they win that, oh God.
If we thought the other night was bad and the journey home and everything else, I'm just starting to get back to normality. But that is in the back of my mind, and I am petrified.
But a guy was saying to me, he's going, you lot was all going on and saying you'd rather lose the Europa League final than
yeah, if that's a guarantee.
So he said, it's part one.
Yeah, but as long as it is part one. You know what I mean? But if it's not part one and we've lost that and they win that, we're never, ever, ever going to be able to live that down. We will never have any banter on them anymore. We won't be able to use winning the league at White Hart Lane twice. We won't be able to use Invincibles. Won't have to be able to give it the whole North London is red. They will have overtaken us, Robbie. If they win the Champions League, I'm sorry, they will have overtaken us. And that is the harsh reality.
At the moment, the harsh reality is, even if they don't win it, they've overtaken us.
Overtaken us in terms of...
They're not overtaken us in terms of them being a bigger club.
No. Better.
And our history. But if you're just looking at it at the moment, if we're being completely honest, the moment, they are a better team than us.
Yeah.
It's horrible to say. It's the truth. And I was saying this to the troops the other day. He was refusing to admit it. I said, until we start admitting these things, we're not going to improve.
No.
Right? We can't. We have to be real.
This is why I've kind of mentally prepared myself for tomorrow. I think if you are an Arsenal fan and you're watching this and you haven't done it yet, mentally prepare yourself for it, because...
If they win it, man.
Mate, listen to me. I'm telling you, I'm thinking about digging, caves underground and hiding in there and... going to the moon and just finding all these random places where there's literally no signal, no internet, no life, nothing. Let's all get together as Arsenal fans. Let's all drown our sorrows together. Let's all just disappear, man.
But listen, the AAA have posed us another one of these questions, right? Now, what they're asking us, right? Watch this video here. Watch this video.
We're talking about which was the more dramatic final. I guarantee you ask 100 people, 99 people are going to say Istanbul. Here's why I believe Istanbul was the better final and the bigger deal. We're talking about an AC Milan side that had Shevchenko, Pirlo, Kaká, Cafu, Dida, Stam, a team full of elite world-class players at their peak. The fact that we went 3-0 down shouldn't actually be a shock when you see the two teams. AC Milan completely outplayed us for that first half, but I never in my life expected a turnaround in 8.5 minutes or so like happened in that second half.
What do you think? What do you think was the biggest miracle? Was it Liverpool winning that final against AC Milan?
Yeah.
Or was it Man United's, again, another last minute... I mean, they won the treble.
Yeah, I know. But the biggest comeback has to be Liverpool by a million miles. 3-0 down at half-time. I think the only team that can capitulate in a second half the way that AC Milan did is us.
Yeah.
That is it.
Do you know what, as well? When you look at that, right? 3-0 down. All right, I know they had longer to do it because they had a whole half to do it, right? But 3-0 down... Right? Now you look at it, I'm going to jump straight in at this, right? We were 3-1 down the other night, yeah? Mesut Ozil gets substituted. I know you've backed him a lot, yeah? But this is a question that a lot of people are talking about. We're just going to jump straight in at this point.
Okay.
The way that guy walked off that pitch, it was as if we were winning 3-1.
Yeah, it was unacceptable.
Normally you'd see someone like they sprint off, you know what I mean? You're still, in your mindset, you're still thinking, well, it ain't done yet. That was a surrender.
Yeah.
What message did that send out to the rest of the team?
It sent a message out. It sent a message to everyone, but literally just before that, Lucas Torreira was substituted and he sprinted off the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, and that was unacceptable. That was... I understand you're hurting. I understand all that stuff. It's fine.
Forget hurting, but no, forget hurting.
You cannot do that. You can't do that.
It was like a. To me, that was like a white flag. He's walking off as if to say we've lost this game. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Liverpool were free. Listen. Just check out recently. Even some of the games recently. Liverpool against Barcelona the other day. How they pulled that back, right? The other day, Tottenham, we have to say it, right? That game, they needed 3 goals against Ajax. They did it, right? I'm not saying that we could have done it, and we did. You know what? To be fair,
we had chances.
When Willock and Iwobi came on, we looked a lot better. We were at least having a go. All right, Chelsea would have sat back a little bit. We were having a go, yeah?
We were opening them up.
Right? But the guy just surrendered, man. I really found that, like you said, it was unacceptable. He's our number one player. He's the highest earner. He's the guy that, if anything, we should be looking to him and saying, right, Mesut, do something for us.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, I thought that was a real turning point for him as a player at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Player that I've loved over the years. But when I saw that, I'm like, is that the end of the road now?
I think it could be. I genuinely think it could be. I said this to you when we was doing videos out in Baku, and when we watched the interview with Ralstonelli and stuff, and they were saying that the contract situations that we've been dealing with over the last few years, the mess we've got ourselves in, will never happen again. When a player goes to 2 years left on their contract, the hierarchy now make the decision. Are you going to be leaving? If we believe that you're not going to be part of our future plans, we will get rid of you. If you are part of our plans, you sign a new contract. If you don't, we will make that tough decision to say, okay, bye-bye, because we're not going to lose you for free. Mesut Ozil now has 2 years left on his contract. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to be easy to get rid of him, because who's going to want to buy him? Who's going to want to pay the kind of wages we are? There's talk that we're looking to loan him out and we're going to have to subsidise some of his wage. But if that's the only way of doing it, then the club literally have to just bite the bullet and do it.
The team needs a change. You look at that game, right? Now, the other thing is, it's a final. I thought Arsenal, I was fully convinced, and I think I've never been into a final and seen fans so confident. Even though we knew we were playing Chelsea, don't get me wrong. I said before the game, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
It's a final. But we were so confident because we're like, they're going to go for this.
Yeah,
they're really
believed that they were going to go for it. All the talk,
they lacked energy, they lacked pace. I saw a Chelsea fan in the hotel, right, after the game. And me and him was having a chat, yeah? And he said to me, he goes, Robbie, I thought we were the team that needed to get the win to try and get in the Champions League. He goes, that's how we played. He goes, you guys played like you're already on the beach. There was no energy. As I said, until Iwobi and Joe Willock came on, there was a little bit of energy right at the start of the game. But, I mean, I was taken aback at how lacklustre we were.
Yeah, no, but do you know what? The thing was that the first half, I think that it was very even. I think Chelsea had chances, we had chances. So we hit the bar. Then there was the Lacazette penalty incident. People will say that Kepa, it was his head that clipped his ankle. It was not, an intention. You still clipped him.
I think, was there VAR in that final?
Yes, there was VAR. So what's the point in VAR? I genuinely think that the moment...
Alarm!
What on earth is going on?
Hold on.
Due to an incident, it is necessary to evacuate the building.
Oh my dear God!
By the nearest exit. Do not use the lifts.
You have got to be joking. What have I done wrong now? Robbie, sort your management out.
Is this a proper evacuation?
I don't know.
Or is it
Come on, you own MK Dons now. You've bought it. let's sort it out. But now, anyway, we're not evacuating the building. We're not going anywhere.
Hold on, it's a proper evacuation.
No, and listen. Unless there's fire around me, I'm not moving. All right, I'm comfy. Now, where were we? Let's just listen. Someone will come round if it's. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Oh, hold on. This is.
I think we better find out what's going on.
I think you can understand that this is actually genuine. We can't actually stage
So
this.
we're gonna have to cut this podcast. We have to cut this podcast and then see what's going on. False alarm.
I wish they evacuated us from. I wish they had evacuated us out of Baku.
Yeah, at the stadium. They should have done that after they got their first goal. Maybe we could have reorganised or something.
Yeah, maybe. Like I say, we had the chances in that first half and it was even. And I remember sitting there at half time and it just felt weird. The only thing that was really confusing to me was the atmosphere. It felt like a pre-season game. It felt like when we was in Singapore.
It was really strange, right? Because it didn't seem like a cup final. I see. Actually, I saw something where they said the stadium was half full. That's rubbish.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was half full, but there was a lot of empty places.
I'd say the stadium's about 80% full. The other thing that really baffled me about the performance of the Arsenal players is that, like, most of the people there were Arsenal fans. So again, you know. And then you had obviously, most of the people that were supporting a particular team were Arsenal fans. There was lots of neutral fans there.
Yeah.
And it was just, like you said, you know, let's just address that slightly. I mean, Baku was a beautiful city. It was, you know, they organised it well. You can't fault them for what they did. Mm-hmm. But I'm faulting UEFA still. It shouldn't have been held there.
No.
You know, a 5,000-mile round trip. I was chatting to that same Chelsea guy yesterday who said to me that, Robbie, he goes, he goes, I've got to go back to Tbilisi. He goes, I came down on a train. He goes, flew there. Then I got a train, 12-hour train journey. He said the train was disgusting. He said, I was in first class. He said, the toilets. And he goes, it was terrible. He goes, going back, he said he had to hire a car. He goes, that was going to be a 7-hour drive. The distances people had to, you know, people went via Budapest, via Istanbul, Dubai, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And then you could tell by the atmosphere that there was a lot of, say, local English fans that were not able to get there.
Yeah. And there was a lot of hostility towards UEFA.
Yeah, what it did do was it opened up a nice opportunity for fans from various other countries that wouldn't normally be able to get to see Arsenal, for them to come, and that was nice. But at the end of the day, you think about it, there's fans that have been watching Arsenal in that Europa League, right throughout the tournament, that have not been able to go. There's been fans that have been going to the Emirates.
Yeah.
You know, and remember, there's a lot of teams that play in the Europa League, and they'll get like hardly any fans turn up. And you know, Europa League this season, Arsenal were getting like 50,000 plus for those games, right? And those fans have not been able to get there because it's just too expensive, too far. So UEFA, it was a big mistake to hold it. And it's such a far off destination, but they won't care.
No,
I think next year's final's in Poland.
It's in Poland. I've already booked my hotel.
Good luck with that one.
No, because I know the reason why I booked my hotel was because just the same as this one, because I get free cancellation up to 2 days before the actual day.
The other thing as well.
So I made sure that I'd done it.
I heard a lot of stories of people who'd done that, and then when they turned up at the hotel were turning around to them and saying the booking's gone.
Yeah.
Or there was another hotel where they said there was no water. There was 2 hotels.
Oh no, there was one hotel that didn't exist. Do you remember that guy that was telling us?
Yeah.
He got to his hotel and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
It was like the in-betweeners moment.
But then what some people were saying to me is that some of these hotels, when they were turning up and they were saying things like there's no water there was. They just didn't want those people because they booked cheap.
Yeah.
They wanted people to come after them and spend loads of money.
Book the right place.
So, you know what I mean? Again, this is all down to UEFA.
Can I just address one thing as well? I want to address some comments on TalkSport by Danny Murphy and Mickey Quinn, who are slagging off Arsenal and Chelsea fans for not making the trip, staying, they're saying that if it was Liverpool, Manchester United, they would have sold out the 6,000, this, that, the other. It's very, very easy for you millionaires sitting in your comfy little chairs and everything else to think that it's very easy to pay that kind of money to get all the way over it. Let me explain something for these out-of-date idiots, right, who just think that it's so easy. A lot of people would have had to take 3, 4, even a week off work just to get there. Definitely. You're talking hundreds and hundreds of pounds lost in not being at work, right? And taking holidays and other stuff like that. People can't afford to do that. People have mortgages, people have rent, people have bills, right? Then you talk about the cost of getting there alone. You're talking, even if you take all these excessive ways of getting there, you're still talking 700, 800, 900 to £1,000. Ourselves, we paid over £1,100 for a direct flight. I had my son come with me. I paid £2,500. So you look at that, and these people have got the audacity to sit there in their studios with their huge bank accounts and think that they can mock and put down the normal, average, working man football supporter.
Right?
These are people that are so out of date.
Arsenal Football Club has got one of the best travelling supports in the world, right? Chelsea have got a very, again, one of the best travelling supports in the world. They have. You know what I mean? We see it week in, week out in the Premier League, anywhere is the games are played around Europe. The fact is that destination was wrong place. There was one flight going into the airport can only handle 15,000 people a day, right? They could not get enough flights on. It was just logistically the wrong place, hence the prices. And remember, these are the prices before you even buy a ticket. And it's not a Champions League final. It's the Europa League final. And I just think these
and you've got to get a visa.
Like you said, they're out of touch with what they're saying. Completely. Visa you had to get. They're completely out of touch with what they're saying. The final should not have been held there. No. It's a lovely place. I'd go back there. Baku was nice, but it was the wrong place to hold it, right? But let's just getting back onto the football. Have you ever known a team, a top team in Europe, that regularly gets beat 3, 4, 5, 6-0, 6 goals past them like we do?
Nope.
Our defending is absolutely shocking, and it's not improved under Emery. As a matter of fact, we've got to start speaking about Emery as well.
Yeah.
Has it been any better this season?
Do you know what?
Has it?
I've looked at it. I've spent the last 24 hours or so thinking to myself about everything. Now I'm starting to calm down a little bit, and you don't let emotions get in the way, sort of thing. And I sat and spoke to you in the stadium, and I said to you, I'm sorry, Robbie. I said, we need to genuinely look at this now and say, what are we going to do? Have we genuinely improved this season? We are, how many months are we into Emery's reign? 12, 13 months? It's been a year.
Call it a year.
All right. Now I understand there's been injuries and stuff, but I don't see an identity to Arsenal. At least you could say under Arsene Wenger, we know how we play. There was an identity to the way we played. We knew what we were getting, and that used to frustrate us because you used to be just so wide open. But you knew that there was something about us. Everyone knew the way we played. But under Emery, I don't feel there's an identity at the club. I don't feel there's a certain way we play. 1 week we'll play 3 at the back, then it's 4 at the back, and then we'll play 5 in midfield, 3 in midfield. And what I didn't get, it was very early. Very clear, very early, should I say. And this is what baffles me, because you hear these comments that if you've never played football, you've never managed football, you don't know what you're doing, basically. And I know it was Arsene Wenger that actually made those comments once before, but we all have a pair of eyes. We can all see things. We can all see what's going on the pitch. And very early, I could see that Hazard and Pedro were pulling out wide, and where we were tucked in as a free, they were basically pulling off our fullbacks and using the wings to exploit us and open our free. And I could see that very clearly. And I was like, the thing that Emery did so well at the very beginning, and we all used to talk about, was how he could change tactics to adjust to the situation. And I feel that in the first few months at Arsenal, he would have changed that back three. He would have said, right, we need to change this round because
But is it because of the lack of personnel as well?
Well, you say that, but you go with what's on the pitch. So at that point, why do you not turn around and say, right, Nacho, go left back, Ainsley, right back, Koscielny, Socrates, you two are going to sit here. I'm going to sacrifice maybe Kolasinac and bring in another, you know what I mean? You adjust it, and that's what Emery was so good at doing in the first few months. We would go a goal down and go to half-time. You remember we had that record where we hadn't been leading by half-time up till Christmas or something like that. But there was that sense of, at half-time, none of us ever panicked. We were like, oh yeah, it's fine, he's going to change this round. We'd make 3 substitutions, 2 substitutions immediately, and we'd turn the game on its head, and we were like, what is he saying to these boys at half-time? Because it's working. Why can't they do it from minute 1? But now, it seems that we've lost that edge. And
but I'm saying personnel-wise,
I know
he knows he can't go flat back 4 because Kolasinac can't defend.
No, but what I said,
right?
Monreal goes as a left. He was already on the pitch. So Monreal goes as a left back because Monreal's a better left back than he is a left-sided defender in a free.
We've got no pace. That's the other thing. I've never seen an Arsenal team so slow in transition.
They lack width.
We move the ball so slowly, man. It's almost embarrassing.
It is. It is embarrassing. Yeah. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. And it's just, there's no identity to the team anymore. There's no,
there's an identity. The identities were spineless, like you said in your interview.
We've been spineless for years. We've been spineless ever since we get slapped 8-2 at Manchester United. Let's be real about this. We've gone to Old Trafford and been beaten 6-1. We've gone to Stamford Bridge and been beaten 6-0. We've been to the Etihad and conceded 6. We've been to Liverpool and conceded 5 countless times. You talk about the last 6 weeks of the season because that's when I think that everything imploded. We concede 3 against Crystal Palace at the Emirates. We concede 3 at Wolves. We concede 3 at Leicester. We fall apart every single time. And it's not a coincidence anymore.
So that tells you that with this team, right, it's not a coincidence, right? That tells you that this team is lacking a spine. The other thing, just going back to the Emery thing, again, we got a question. He's letting Ramsey go. Or Ramsey's gone.
Can I just say, I actually don't. By watching the Sanelli thing, I think that was taken out of Emery's hands. I think it was the hierarchy that made the decision, and it was pretty clear from what they said.
Funny enough, when you think about it as well, look at his title. That's what a lot of people are missing. It's not like how when Wenger was there, where Wenger had a lot of control over transfers. He's the head coach.
Yeah.
Like they do in Europe, where your job is, you coach the players. You can have a little say in perhaps what we bring in.
Yeah.
But basically, we're bringing in these players and your job is to coach them. That's, and Emery, nothing's really changed really. When you really break it down, we moved up 1 place in the league and we
went from a semi-final to a final. But like you said, there's still no identity. There's still no direction, and I'm very worried at the moment about Arsenal because I look at the teams in the top 6. I think we deserve to finish 5th. We were the 5th best team. We could have, if we would have had any balls, we should have finished at top 4, but we didn't. We finished 5th. United were worse than us this season, so we deserve to finish 5th. But then if you start looking at next season, start looking ahead to next season now. Those teams there in that top 6 are all going to get better. They're going to strengthen. All right, Chelsea may have problems with their transfer ban if that's upheld. And they're going to lose Hazard. Oh, that's going to be upheld all day long.
Yeah, so then they might have a few problems next season. Chelsea.
They're going to have massive problems. Without Eden Hazard, they are going to have
but the others,
problems.
Tottenham now, they're in a Champions League final, so they'll be able to strengthen. They'll have a budget. I saw the other day they were linked to some player where they put in a bid for 50 million. So that's more than you normally see Tottenham bid for players. You know that Liverpool, Man City standard, they're going to strengthen. You look at Manchester United, they will strengthen. They'll get rid of Deadwood. They will strengthen. They've got big money to spend. Then start looking at some of the teams underneath that. Yeah. Right? Wolves, Leicester, Everton.
Newcastle now.
Newcastle about to get shaped by Newcastle. If we don't get our act together, this self-sustaining model and all this and that, we don't get our act together, we could fall out of the top 6. We could be finishing 8. No, I don't want to scaremonger. But this is the reality of it, is if these guys don't start looking at this in a serious way, we're going to be in big trouble.
Well, this is the thing, and I said this to you before we even started filming, and I referred back to a video that I did with you at Manchester City away last season. And I turned around and said, we're a top 8 team. And I said, and before long, you lot are going to realise it. And I said, we need another 5-6 years before we repair the damage that's been done. And you looked at me
we
like,
need to spend some money now. You can't
but
self-sustain.
he's not going to spend the money. This is the thing. He's not going
Then
to
leave.
He ain't going to leave. We already
When he's
know
making
that.
so much
What,
money.
what did I say to you in one of the interviews you did with me in the fan park in Baku? And I said, we've got a Europa League budget and we've got a Champions League budget. And since we've been confirmed that we're not going in the Champions League, we're already being told the likes of Sahar's out of the window, the likes of Upper Makana's out of the window, because they were in our Champions League budget.
I think it's more like a championship budget.
Can I be honest with you?
I mean,
Do you know
the
what?
Champions League
You know what? Right?
Championship budget. Last season, what did we spend?
No, I know.
You get what you.
I know.
You get what
can
you
I just say
deserve
one
with
thing,
these
right?
things.
Listen, we need a huge overhaul. I mean huge. This is not minor surgery. This is major surgery. This is huge what we need to do. I personally believe that we need to strengthen from the back, build a solid foundation. When Arsene Wenger took over at Arsenal, the blessing he had was that we had a foundation in place, which was a backline. You had a solid foundation. He could then go and take gambles on a Patrick Vieira, on a Thierry Henry, because he was a gamble. He was a failed winger in Italy at the time. Remember that?
Yeah.
So Arsene Wenger could take those gambles because he knew that he had a foundation that was not going to be breached. He could sprinkle the stardust around it. What we need to do, however much this budget is, let's say we take player sales and everything else, right? I want us to go and spend all of our budget on the defence, right? And what I then want to do is promote youth. I want us to look at the Ajax model, right? Because for people that sit here and don't understand, we have one of the best youth academies and players in English football, if not world football. Some of the players we've got going through and what they're achieving is brilliant. I watched the under-23s this year and some of the lads that are coming through. The under-18s was it that won the league and the work that Freddie Lundberg's doing. I was speaking to Per Mertesacker in the hotel.
Will you give him a chance though?
Could you listen?
You
What I will say, listen, no, right, listen. Robbie, don't say things like that, right? Because Iwobi's had 4 or 5 years at the club, right? And he's not progressing in my opinion. Yeah, he's a youth product, but he's not progressing, right? I look at Joe Willock a year ago, and I look at Joe Willock this season. I'm seeing genuine progression.
I saw genuine progression in Iwobi. I definitely did. I saw a progression in him.
Well,
right? Listen, he may not be Zaha and that, but look, this season he progressed. And yeah, you're right. You know, I mean, we do need to. Willock has improved greatly, and you know, you've got guys like Guendouzi, even though he's not come through the youth system, young players. You're right. We do need to kind of start bringing those guys through.
Can I just say with Iwobi, right? And listen, I'm one of his biggest critics, and I'll be honest with you. I can praise him, and like with any player, I'll praise him and criticise him accordingly. I haven't got an agenda against players and stuff. And yeah, there's players that I like. You know, everyone has a favourite. Everyone has players that they, have something for. And the thing is with Iwobi is that he will have one good game in 5. Right? I want Iwobi to have 3 or 4 good games in 5, because if you want us to take us to another level or to replicate what our teams of the past ever did to get back to where we used to be, Freddie Lundberg, Robert Pires, players that play in these similar positions out wide and whatnot, they always had 3 or 4 good games out of 5. There was only the odd bad one. The problem is with Iwobi is that he has one good game, then he'll have 3 or 4 games where he's average, doesn't really do anything. This is the issue. If Alex Iwobi can perform the way he did in 20 minutes against Chelsea in that final, I would have no issues with him whatsoever. I would be praising him from the hilltops and there would be nothing wrong. But it's the consistency. And he's nearly 20, he's just turned 22. 23, sorry. He's not a kid anymore. Raheem Sterling's 24. Leroy Sané's 23. We're not talking about an 18-year-old kid. This is why I'm saying, how long do you spend on someone before you say, right, you've had enough time, bye-bye?
That's the problem is that we ain't spending.
No,
I agree with you.
No, spend on time on a person.
I agree with you, right? The defence. What I want to see with Arsenal is first and foremost, like, I agree with you 100%. Sort this defence out. Since the last good defender we bought was Sol Campbell. Now, when we bought Sol Campbell, it was the equivalent to like Liverpool buying Van Dijk.
Yeah, back then.
Right?
And it made you say, wow.
Wow. Why? And we know what the problem is. That's why I said when you talk about our identity at the moment, our identity is that team's got no spine. So the first thing we need to do is fix the spine of that team, which it needs defenders in there. Right? There's also no goal scorers at the moment really from midfield. That needs to be sorted out. Attacking wise, we score goals, but we need to sort out this defence. But are we going to be able to do it with the owner and his self?
Can I?
And I you know, when I think about Stan Kroenke, I know you saw Josh Kroenke was at the hotel.
I pulled him up.
Right, I know you pulled him up, but he was at the hotel.
Yeah,
you pulled him up and said he's going to spend some money. But where's Stan Kroenke? Where was he?
I told you.
Abramovich was there. No, listen to me.
I know.
Abramovich was there. This is our biggest game. This is right. It's not the Champions League, but it's the next biggest trophy. All eyes around the world, especially with the way they put that game, where it's like been a couple of weeks since the season's finished. All eyes are on that game. Where are you? All this thing I hear about, we're on the phone to him every day. And if that guy cared about this club, he would be at that game the other night. Unless he was ill, for me, he should be there. Abramovich was there. Where are you? You was at the Super Bowl, weren't you? I saw that guy at the Super Bowl final. He was even days before, every minute he's giving he's speaking to the news and everything, right? He's enthusiastic, he's pumped. All right, I know it's in America. Why are you not at that final? Why are you just sending your son to it? Is it just you don't care?
No.
To me, if I own a football club and they're in a European final and we've not won a European trophy, my team that I own has not won a European trophy since 1994, right? I have to be there to witness that unless I'm ill. I'm not sending my son. I'm going to be there. I watched Villa the other day playing in the championship playoff. Prince Harry was even there. The future king. Turned up, he's an Aston Villa fan, he was there. Where's Stan Kroenke?
I know, you don't need to tell me
this guy, it has to be now. He needs to come out. Do you care about this club? If you don't care,
do you remember
and
what I told you?
It's only a money investment, then you need to go. At least Mike Ashley, they slate him at Newcastle, at least he's admitted and said, listen, I need some money. I'm going to get my money and I'll be gone. And he's got his money now. He said, when the price is right, he needs to do something like that. Just put it out there and say, you know what? If I could get back, if I can double my money, well, he's already doubled his money. But if I can get like treble my money for us or whatever, I'll sell it. And then let rich people from around the world start looking at it and maybe come in. Because honestly, I'm really starting to look at this and say, and I'm hoping I'm wrong here, and it's going to be proven in the summer. This guy does not care about this club. That is the impression of the fans.
Yeah.
Stan Kroenke, come out and tell me and tell the fans that we're wrong. That's all you got to do. Why don't you say something sometimes? Why don't you come out and say, well, all right, we heard Sanelli and that the other day, and we
want to hear from you.
That's the party line being told. That's like in politics, you know what I mean? You send out a couple of MPs and make them go on question time, and they say, yeah, this and that. I want to hear from the owner of the club.
Yeah.
Arsenal at the moment are in a bit of crisis. Yeah? Even though we got to a final and that, for a club of our size, this now is going to be 2 years, we will be 3 years in the Europa League. Remember, that's not something that's happened to this club over the years, right? He needs to come out and tell the fans what his vision is, how much he cares. I want to know why you weren't there the other day. Was you ill? If you were sick, fair enough. Otherwise than that, you should be. Abramovich was there.
I know. I should have actually asked Josh where his dad was. that would have been TV
Or
gold.
does Josh run the club? If you're saying...
Well, this is the thing. What did I say to you about a year ago? What did I say to you about a year ago? I said I reckon he's handing the reins over to Josh.
I want to know.
No, I know we want to know, but I'm saying, I reckon he's literally said, Josh, you're running Arsenal now. Because you remember Josh moved over here for 6 months before Wenger left and everything. And we've been saying it since then.
I make it clear, like in boxing,
you don't need to tell me.
Eddie Hearn.
You don't need to tell me, Robbie.
Was it Barry Hearn? And he said to me, my son's running the boxing thing now. I'm going to make my son run that. Yeah. We all know Eddie Hearn runs that. He's doing a good job.
You don't need to tell me. You don't need to tell me. This is not an argument that we're having here.
This summer is critical now. I remember I said to you guys last summer, I said, how do we expect Emery to do anything? You guys thought I was having a dig because of the whole Wenger thing. I weren't. I was saying, he ain't going to be able to do much better because they ain't giving him nothing.
No, but what did I say to you? What did I say to you? No, what did I say to you? I said Emery's first season is where he gets, like the free pass, if anything, right? And I said, but this year now, this summer, this is the first transfer window, like summer transfer window where Stan is now 100% owner. This is the first transfer window where Emery's now looked at everyone and said, bye-bye, keeping you. Now we're going to find out.
DT, they're only giving 50 million quid. Or
yeah,
40 million
but this is what I'm trying to say to you.
And next season we finish 5th, right? Can we blame the guy? Can we blame Emery? We're asking a guy to create miracles then, because at the end of the day, right? Look at every league in Europe. The team that wins it is the team that spends.
No, but Robbie, no. Can I just say one thing here? One thing. If you take the money spent on Virgil van Dijk at Liverpool, they haven't got a huge budget. They're very much replicating what we are, right? But they had assets to sell. You think of Robertson. How much did he cost, right? Trent Alexander-Arnold come through the system. How much did they spend on Henderson, Milner, Wijnaldum, right? Even Salah was only £30 million.
Do you think, let me ask you a question, yeah? If it was Arsenal, right, so yeah, they got a bit of a self-sustaining model at Liverpool, but let me ask you a question. Had it have been Arsenal that sold Coutinho, so basically Liverpool, they sold Coutinho and they took that money and they went and bought Van Dijk and Alisson, right? If that had been Kroenke, and we sold, I don't know, say we sold Lacazette and we got 110 million for him, right? Would he have invested all that money back in players? Has he done that over the years?
Now, I'm not sticking up for him here, but I can only think of one example of that ever happening. And that was on transfer deadline day when we were offered 60 million, I think it was, or something, for Alexis. And do you remember we was all standing outside the Emirates saying that it's been accepted with Man City, but we've told Man City we have to get our replacement first, and we went straight in and offered 90-something million for Lamar. So on that...
So the rumour says...
No, that was genuine.
So
and it was Lamar that turned us down. Look, come on, Robbie, that one incident was genuine.
Where's the evidence of... Yeah, we heard. Where's the evidence of that since?
Well, what I'm saying is, of your question, that is the only one comparable...
You know how long this man's owned his club?
I know that, but what I'm saying is what your question was. How
long this man's
owned it? Only ever...
He's got no ambition. I don't see that.
No, I know that. I'm not...
That move by Liverpool was an ambitious move. They're like, you know what? We've got a problem with our defence. Van Dijk... Remember when they bought Van Dijk? Everybody, lots of people... They're crazy. £75 million for a defender.
Yeah,
Klopp said, I need the best. The owner said, all right, here's the money.
And then they built around him.
He didn't take back, say, all right, no, hold on. Here's 30 million. Go and get yourself a Mustafi or somebody. We need back the rest of that. That needs to come here. They didn't do that. They didn't do that, did they? They said,
no. I know what you said.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Go and get thing.
We're going to find out.
We need a keeper.
We're going to find out.
We need a keeper. They didn't say, oh, it's 20 million. Go and get that guy. He's up and coming. They said, no, I want the best. But that guy, Alisson's got the best record around at the moment. Go and get him. And then they've still got people like Shaqiri and that on top of that. Look at that. Look where they are.
I know.
There's a challenge.
But this is what I'm trying to say to you. But this is what I'm trying to say to you.
That's ambition.
And that's why I said to you, right, with the Adidas deal, with the Emirates deal, with the players we sell, spend all of the money on the defence.
Deal.
Spend all the money on the defence. And then
We probably won't see none of the money from the Adidas deal.
Will you listen to me for a second, right? Spend all that money, right? Because you've got one chance now, right? If you go and spend all that money on the defence and you sort out the problems,
sorry to cut you, yeah? Adidas deal's worth 60 million a year.
Adidas is 60, Emirates...
What did they say we might have to spend?
40. But it's not. Come on, we know it's more than that, all right? But what I'm saying is, yeah, if they go right, now, who's this right back that we apparently have offered the 5-year deal with PSG?
Don't know. He's probably here. Probably plays there.
Probably plays there.
MK Dons.
No, he plays for PSG, man. What's his name? I forgot his name. But he's valued at and he's valued at 30 million. And I'm like, how Arsenal we need 2 centre backs and a left back, and you go after a right back.
We need a right back as well.
I know, but if they go and repair all of that, right? Listen, let me give you an example here, right? If
the whole back line.
Listen, right? Let me say something. If we go and get a left back, if we go and get this Meunier for right back, we've already got Leno, who I've got no issues with, and we go and bring in minimum 1. If we're fucking really in dreamland too, yeah. But let's just say we go and sort that back line out, and then you promote Reece Nelson, Saka, Joe Willock, and add them to what's already there. Because I think Joe Willock can be a replacement for El Neni, for example, and then he can go. Joe Willock can do a better job. Do you know what I mean? Give him that, you know, and then add a centre midfielder to replace Aaron Ramsey. I've got no problems with them promoting the likes of Saka and Reece Nelson and boys like that. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see what
one of our best players go to Juventus. And replace him with Saka. No disrespect to Saka.
Two different players.
Joe Willock, great up and coming players. But
I've not said we're replacing any of them with him because, for example, right, Saka.
That's another area where we need to spend big.
Saka's on the wing.
Right, who are we going to replace Ramsey with? Look at me. He's a goal-scoring midfielder, right? Look at who we're going to replace. This is a huge summer. I don't want to say too much now because we got to give them a chance to show us what they're going to do. But I'm very worried already. When I saw that thing with Sanelli and stuff like that, I just saw that as a bit like politics. It's a bit like the party lines being towed. We come out. I like the fact that they came out and said something, but I'm still looking at it and saying to myself, I'm not getting the impression that these guys are going to be able to fix the problems. There's a lot of money that the whole of that back four needs replacing as far as I'm concerned.
I know. I'm not going to bait them up. But obviously there was a lot of ex-players who we met in the hotel. Ex-players from past generations.
They all see the problems
recent as well. People that work at the club who we all sat down and had chats to and are speaking to for a very long time in the lobby before the game. And I asked them all the same question. Is Stan going to spend money, do you reckon? And they all gave me that look like...
Don't be stupid.
Like, as if to say, like, I don't physically want to tell you the truth, but my facial expression's kind of giving it away. And I'm talking about people that have played for this club, people that are still a part of this club.
BT, I'm saying to you, if we don't spend the right amount of money next year,
we're going to keep falling down.
We could drop even further back because I look at a team like Wolves and I say, apart from Aubameyang and Lacazette, there's nothing. They are probably even better than us.
There you go.
They've got a better defence. They've got a better midfield.
There's a couple of players and rules that you take.
I look at the back line at Leicester when we played them. I was like, that's better than our back line. Aaron Maguire's better than any guy we got. Chilwell's better than thing. That guy they had on the right arm side, Pereira, he looked to play. He was better than anything we had. Johnny Evans is better than Mustafi. I was like, that's a better back four than us.
Do you know what's
I looked in the midfield, I'm like, Tielemans. I thought he'd walk into our team. I was like, this is no shock that these men are beating us 3-0. Same when we went to Wolves and I looked at their midfield. I'm like,
Neves and that.
Neves and these guys, they're better than what we got. Right? Everton, when we played them, I'm looking at a guy, Bernard, and I could definitely see him in our team. Honestly, I'm like, if we don't start spending some money on that team, needs a back four and it needs a couple of star players in that team.
Yeah.
Then you bring through the youth on top of that. If we don't do that, then it shows me that the owner's just in it for the money.
Yeah. But
Right? I know he gets criticised for that.
No.
But the proof now, he's got a chance this summer. We said it last summer, the summer before, the summer before that. Show us that you want this club.
I think you've been saying it ever since you was recording videos in your garage.
Do we want this club to become? Listen, you've got to have a plan in everything you do, right? So if your plan is to become the number one, it's not going to be overnight. But even if his long-term plan is like, right, in the next 3 years we want to win the league. What are you going to do? What's the plan to do to get there? I don't see that at the moment. I just see every year comes, he's like, well, I just need to get a team together that perhaps could get into the top 4. Perhaps, not even seriously trying to get into the top 4 no more. Yeah. And if we set up like that, we're going to fail. And it's really disappointing because this is a huge club, as we know. Huge club. You saw with the support that we had over there in Baku in comparison to Chelsea.
Yeah.
The size of his club.
Yeah.
And
you'll see it again this summer when we go to America.
Yeah, and this guy, to go and play a few of his teams are...
Yeah, them banners are coming, you know. Don't think they're not coming, you know. I'm telling you, if he hasn't spent no money, man, and he's not going to... Then it's like I said to you, the opportunity that I got the other day when I met Josh, right, that was one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities where he basically came out of the hotel ready to go onto the coach, which was for all the staff and everyone else, and they were being taken off separately with the players. And where our taxi came along here, they kind of basically blocked the second group being taken on, and he was just stood there, and I stood there, and I was like literally right next to him, and I was like, this is my moment to just say something. And I told him straight, and I said, do you mind if I have a word with you? Thought, let me be polite first. And he had all his security around him, and he kind of looked at me as if to say like, okay, I've got no choice here. And I was like, are you and your dad actually going to show ambition for this club? Are you actually going to do something and show us what this means to you? And he was like, well, we are doing everything we can, and we promise that we're going to... And I said, all right, well, back your talk, do it. And it was like, my brother was there and everyone, and they were just like, oh, shit. And I wasn't rude. You know, I just asked a question which everyone wants to know.
I think this is a big season for them, for the Kroenke family.
It is.
I can see if we don't see that ambition shown,
everyone's going to turn big time.
And they no longer have the shield of Arsene Wenger there to protect them. Because let's face it, he did for many years.
I don't know, they might bring him in as director of football and he'll shield him again.
But something has to be done to fix this team. It was very poor over there in Baku. Very poor over there in Baku for a final. But listen, we're going to get into the summer now, so we're going to find out what happens.
Yeah.
We'll be doing these podcasts throughout the summer, so make sure you tune in. The award-winning podcast, as we said, right? And we will be doing them throughout the summer. We'll be updating you on transfers. We're also going to be going over, of course, to America to do the tour over there. We're looking forward to that and to meeting the fans over there of Arsenal in America, which is huge.
Hopefully do a Q&A.
Absolutely
like we did
huge.
in Dubai.
Yeah, we're trying to sort something out as well for that. So, but thanks for watching the podcast. It was a big L over there in Baku, unfortunately. Huge L.
Baku again.
Don't say that. Don't say that, man. Baku again.
Poor Troops. I've got to say one thing. I do feel sorry for him because there was the image of when Hazard scored his penalty and Troops is there, like life is over.
Troops. When people say,
I'll tell you,
like, they thought they made a load of money. And they should have seen Troops after that game. I was in tears.
I don't want to bait him up too much because I don't know whether he wants everyone to know, but I'm telling you now, right, on everything I have, when I watched his interview, I'd done mine.
He was in tears.
And I watched him walk off and I had to go in where he was and he was in bits. And I was like, wow. And it was just like...
He was in tears, man.
I was raging and he was just so like, and he was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't take this anymore. I can't take the pain, the feeling, the abuse, the banter and everything else. It's just, why us? Why do we get let down so badly.
It's not a matter of losing a final. Anyone can lose a final.
It's the way, it's the manner. It's the manner.
It's getting humiliated.
And I said to you the other day, I done the comparison, didn't I, with 06 when we lost to Barcelona. Yeah. We walked out of there in Paris feeling proud. Pride.
Yeah.
That they gave everything.
Yeah. And they had 10 men in it.
Yeah. But we walked out of that the other day and I felt anger, disgust, and I just wanted to just, I
watched the video. So listen, don't forget to download. That poor guy. Download.
How many games have you been to? He's having a laugh. Jesus. Download. I even went to the Legends game. I even went to the Legends game in Madrid, and this guy's asking me how many games have I been to.
Even as far as 2,500
He was chipping away while I was doing that interview, and then he said one thing, and I just went, "No, I'm not having it now more." No.
The link is in the description. Download the podcast. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.